This is Anand Mahajan, your instructor for this course. Now, in continuation with our topic of exception handling, now I am going to tell you a very important exception which is called value error exception.
This video is brought to you by Appy Pie Academy.
Value error exception is raised when we are required to read an integer value, but instead we give a string value. Now this is our try block, and in this try block I have got num is equal to raw underscore input. Probably this is the first time I have used this raw underscore input. It is equivalent to input, right? So raw underscore input, enter a cell number. I will be asking from the user. After that, the user once, as you know, in input and raw input, whatever you read, that is in the form of string. So num is equal to int num, that will convert this this string value of num into integer. I have used which function? Int function to convert it. After that, I wanted to add 1000 to the current value of num, and then new value of num will be printed. But suppose at the time of execution, user happens to give a string instead of a numeric value, instead of an integer value. At this point of time, when I would write num int num, it won't be able to convert a string value into an integer. So hence an error will occur and control will be sent to this except block with the exception name value error, and non-numeric data, this error message will be displayed. Let us execute this program. Control Shift F10, enter a cell number. First let me give the right cell number. New value of num is equal to this. No exception occurred because I have given the value of this variable num in the form of int value only. Now again execute it, and this time over I will deliberately give a string. Okay, now when it will try to convert this string into integer, it will be erroneous and control will be sent to the except block. Yeah, as you can see, it jumped from this place to except value error, non-numeric data value was printed. Before closing this lecture, let me tell you, instead of writing num is equal to int num, first let me remind you, I had told you that Python is a dynamically typed language. What I mean to say is, first when I inputted the value into num, it was taken to be string, but in this case it was at the time of execution, at the time of running the program, it was converted into integer. So such languages are called dynamic typed languages because we were able to convert the data type at the time of execution. First it was string, then it was converted into int. The data type was changed dynamically. Before that, let me tell you, you could have done this also. You could have applied the int function as the outer function of raw underscore input. It would have given you exactly the same output. Control Shift F10, enter the number, non-numeric data. Let me give the right data also. Right. So we have learned how to use value error when value error exception is raised, when you try to convert a string into integer value or a string into a float value. It could have been a float value also. The same kind of exception will occur. For example, let me put it into comments. Okay, so now I take a variable n, and here I write float raw underscore input enter the room temperature, and after that I happen to write n is equal to there is no need to, because I have already used float. So well, what will happen is, first the inner function row underscore input will work. Suppose I have given the value 22.7 or something, and subsequently that will be converted into float. Then suppose I random into is equal to 10.0 something, and sorry, this time over I am using the variable n, and then print new temperature is plus str n. Okay, let me execute the program. Control Shift F10, enter the room temperature. Suppose I give 12.78 something. New temperature is, because it was multiplied with 10, 127.8. Control Shift F10. Now I happen to give a string ABCD something, no numeric data, right? Thank you.